Hello, hello, good morning. I am trying to see if we are really live, and I totally forgot to put on any eye makeup. Well, let's be honest. When do I remember to put eye makeup on? Never. I have to be super intentional. It's one of those things. That's why I show up here and let's see, eyeglasses help too. So I show up here every time with no makeup on for a couple of reasons. One, and this is why Spirit told me to wear my earbuds this morning, because Mr. Buddy, the border collie puppy of light, is over here jingling away. Anyways, good morning. Happy Monday. How are you? I think I have fixed the whole comments thing. So I'm going to switch back over to comments. Um, so I'm on Facebook. And yes, because there I am, but it seems like it's buffering or something. And then also it says I'm on YouTube. Let's go check because I'm streaming into all the places and I'm kind of wondering, is that working? I don't know. Let's see really quick before we start our weekly energy report because it's really interesting. And the reason I'm checking is because we are heading into the shadow. Well, we're in the midst of the shadow of Mercury retrograde. What's today? The 10th, the 14th, which I believe is Friday. We will be full on into the Mercury retrogrades, which is a delight. Oh, y'all. Um, there we are. Okay, so a couple things. I find it really interesting. First of all, our um Reconnect Align Manifest workshop that happened on Saturday early afternoon was a freaking amazing. So to everybody that attended, you're awesome. Love you so much. Good morning, Samia. How are you? Yes, I guess the whole like comment thing is working. I did the little technology bug fix that StreamYard said. And so Facebook, you can post and hopefully I will see your comments like Samia's in the StreamYards. Anyway, yay! So the Reconnect, Align, and Manifest workshop I hosted on Saturday. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was amazing. It was only supposed to be an hour and a half. Ended up being a little bit longer, which that's cool. I am always good to stay on as long as people want to chat and in the workshops. And those of you that did do it, I am in the midst of putting together your replay stuff. Sunday, I try to keep Sundays as my sacred time. So it took everything in me to keep that boundary so that I wouldn't like hop in your inbox and be like, oh my God, that was amazing. And so later today, you will probably see it. I will then I'm going to bump the newsletter to tomorrow so that people aren't inundated with emails upon emails. And let's see what else. That was so freaking awesome. By the way, I think it's hilarious that I manifested for the manifesting workshop. So I set my intention of 15 people signing up. 18 signed up, and then 4 more were like, "Can I at least see the replay? Can I still register the same day?" Because they had like forgot what time it was and when to show up and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that makes that 22, which is like my master number, which is awesome. And then normally like only 5 people show up. I mean, it was on a Saturday at 11, and yeah, granted it's cold as hell, but the funny thing was we had people from Florida and all over New York, Florida, here in Nashville. There were people from everywhere. It was awesome. And they were like showing up, and I thought only 5 would show up. And then one of the gals in the class was counting for me, and she said, Michele, including you, there's 15 people here, which was the original number I had set for just registrations. So it's 3 times. I manifested 3 times the amount of people, which goes to show when you just be the lighthouse, and you just say, you know what? It's not about gauging my success on how other people show up. What I was gauging my success, and I think this is really also a component of manifesting. When don't get attracted to the outcome, get you don't get the whole caught up in outcomes and what trying to control other people's stuff. It's really all about you. Your How do I put this? Your gauge of success needs to be around what you can control. So, what could I control in that scenario? I set my intentions But what are my inspired actions I needed to take that I did? And normally I am not, I may seem like an extrovert. Yes, I can go sing in front of thousands of people, but how I recharge is introverted. I go and I hide in a cave. So being on Facebook, pushing things or shouting things out or whatever, or on here doing stuff, this takes a lot. And I always feel like I'm like, eh. So I committed to myself that I would show up and be visible and share the light that I wanted to share, and then the perfect people would come. And that's what it happened. And I was so excited for that. So just be aware that it's not the outcome we need to focus on when you're trying to manifest something, it's the energy within yourself towards what that outcome is, and being okay and accepting how the universe delivers it is really the thing. Because when I saw all the people that were like, chiming in on the Zoom, it got a little nuts because I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, there is a ton of people here. So that's what's so cool. So I think this week's theme that I'm going to share with you guys is, even when our natural course, because I'm a Virgo, we're all about planning, we're all about control, we're all about like, here's what we're doing, this is how it's going to go. Um, is to let go of that trying to control things, to let go and have faith in the universe, have faith in source energy, have faith in the fact that you're extension of source energy and thusly source energy. And so therefore, whenever you hear that small, still inner voice telling you and guiding you where to go, the fact is that if you listen and if you have faith in that, it will bring you to where you want to be, or even better. So that is the theme for this week, I think, is where can we step into faith in that small, still inner voice that we have in bigger and bigger ways. So from that perspective, there's so much going on. I think last year and the year before, like I've said repeatedly, there's this just opening and unfolding and people hopping on their various timelines off of the energetic expressway and going into, I think it's almost like a divergence. And I think years and years and years and years ago, Caroline May spoke to the divergence of humanity, energetically speaking, where you have um, kind of the material life human really still focusing on the material life, and then the noetic human, which is the person who is basing, who is tapping into that faith, into that belief system that I am a spiritual being, source energy, experiencing things from a human perspective. And so, from that perspective, you would not be here if you were not on the noetic path, in my opinion. Um, and that being said, there will be echoes of that old, I need to control outcomes, I need to control other people, or how they're, what are they thinking about me, or are they going to heckle me, or whatever. But the fact is that are those are old echoes of old ways. And for you to shine on in 2022, for you to step into this version of you that you've chosen to be as we move forward, the person who did blossom out of that which was the last 2 years of this absolute tearing down, restructuring, showing up in different ways, and all of this other stuff. Who are you now? What do you value now? Because, over the weekend was the epitome of that, Venus retrograde in Capricorn, which is all about, what do I value, and how do I want to show up, and who's in my corner, and who's valuing me, and all that kind of stuff. So when we start moving into this week, which is kind of like that, kind of like, let's round this up. We're going to round this up and spend the next couple of weeks kind of like going, oh, that's what it meant. Plus, we're going into Mercury retrograde at the end of the week, which again, we don't need to be scared of. I will talk more about that probably on Thursday. I'll probably hop on here so you can and visit with y'all with a Mercury retrograde reading. But moving into that, and I believe it's an Aquarius or Cap into Aquarius, I think is what it is. I have to look it up. But anyways, whatever it is, I can tell you right now, those of you that are people like me that are healers or light workers, and this is your business, I cannot tell you how many people have shown up in my inbox or on my pages saying, this is bro, like, and it's all communications related between you and your people. And I think the lesson that we're going to have to learn, which actually was foreshadowed when I think it was AWS went down. And so you had Facebook offline, all of their apps. So Instagram, WhatsApp, all that stuff offline. So people can get to their groups. Then there was some like, I think StreamYard was offline. And people just were scrambling to get to their people to be like, this is, I gotta, how do I connect to my people if there's all this discord? And it's funny because this past week, like literally after I get off here and I take care of a few things, I gotta run down to the store because my SIM card died. Who has ever heard of a SIM card dying? It is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard of. And of course, my phone carrier was like, "We can't help you, but we'll send you a new one." Well, that was Wednesday. I still don't have it. Um, what I'm all that to say is it's almost like the messaging that I'm getting, and I think this is for everybody that's in the same situation, is you're gonna have to find a better way or a different way in addition to, say, this YouTube container, this Facebook container. You might have to, when I was back in the day, before we had Facebook, before we had all of this delightful connectivity, I used to teach voice singing. And back in the day, we used to hang flyers in the bookstore, in the music shop with the little tabbies on the bottom and be like, "Hey, if you want a lesson, call this number, take this little tabby off." And I feel like there's going to be a new way of doing that that needs to be addressed in this Mercury retrograde. It's going to show us that we cannot depend on the platforms of others. We can use them, they can be part of our arsenal or part of our bag of tricks, so to speak, in connecting with each other, whether you are a business, a coach, a light worker, an energy worker, however it is that you're running your business. And yes, we've been having a good old time with Facebook and stuff, but the fact is that it's not our sandbox. It's somebody else's sandbox, and we got to learn either to play by their rules and their foibles. But we also need to remember that we are accountable and responsible for what we do and choose. So maybe taking this reflection time that we're going to have over the next 3 weeks or so to say, okay, especially with this value thing going on, where can I find the most value? Where can I make the most impact? Where can my people come to find the most value? Where can you guys come to find the most value to spend time with me? Is it Facebook Live? I don't know. It might be, that might be part of it. It might be one-on-ones in Zoom. It might be Mighty Networks. It might be somewhere else that we can make sure that we're all staying connected, whether it be through family, because you might be on Voxer with your family. Whether it's family, whether it is work, whether it's friends. Finding new ways to connect, I think, is one of the things that we're going to be learning, because again, there's still a breakdown of stuff going and restructuring. So that's going on. So there's a couple of different things that are happening, but I want to reinforce the theme for this week, though, amid all of this kind of foreshadowing of what's going to go on the next couple of weeks through the Mercury retrograde, which, by the way, back up your stuff now before Friday. Go ahead and set aside the time you never want to take and back up your computer, back up your phone. Make sure you got stuff where you need, that kind of thing. Go ahead and do that. Not now. Wait till we're done here. But go ahead and set aside maybe an hour or two to like clear out your email box so your emails don't crash. Clean up that computer. Make sure your stuff is backed up. Your websites are backed up. All of it is backed up, because for some reason I feel like the last couple haven't really been technology doozies, I would have to say, for me anyway, but they've been more like personal, like how my relationship with self kind of stuff, which is what I was kind of toting back in the day. But I feel like this one's going to be like communication. The reason Mercury is over communication, and the reason this is how we communicate, whether it's a live stream or a phone or whatever. And so it's going to be kind of about that. So I think that would be a good idea. But if we're going to break it down and take the one little bite of the elephant to get us through, this week is all about faith in self, because you are an extension of source energy. So it's truly faith in source energy, universe, God, whatever your word is for that which is larger than you. And let me come back here. Oh, Brad, you're funny. I don't have any star cards. And yes, that is always a joke, by the way. The whole I can see Uranus. I am 6 years old inside too. And Margaret, oh my goodness, girl. Where have you been? Hey, lady, I love you so much. I miss your face. I mean, I get to see a little bit on the Facebook, but yeah, you're such so sweet. I love Margaret. She has been around since the beginning when I couldn't figure out how to work Zoom. So I've come a long way, baby. So anyway, so let's ask the cards, what do we need to know so that we can lean more into the faith aspect of, that let it go aspect of manifesting when we want to bring about that change in the world? Where do we need to do this? Where do we need to focus, and how can we support ourselves in that? So y'all, it's been a crazy bunch of weeks, and I feel like the energy is lighter. This week's gonna be a little bit woo, but it's okay because we're gonna just have faith. That's how we're gonna do this. Mm. Waiting for them to tell me. Mm. And they're like, you didn't say the announcements. Okay, announcements. So really quick before I pull, am I ready here? Yes. Okay, cool. Don't put them okay. I love when they're chattering and I can't get a word in edgewise. Anyway, so big announcements. First of all, if you want, and spots are booking up, by the way. So I am going to be discontinuing general readings after January 31st. So if you want like a reading with me, like how I basically say, it's your hour, what are we doing? What do we want to talk about? What do we want to discuss? What cards we're going to pull? Who are we talking to spirit wise? That kind of stuff. Just below, I believe, is the link. If not, you can go to my website, which is soulcoachstudio.com, and hit work with me and just jump on the calendar there if you want a reading. But they're only going to happen from now until the 31st. After that, don't worry, readings are not going away entirely. I am going to do what I'm calling seasons readings, which would be Mercury retrograde readings, New Year's readings, that kind of stuff. And I'm leaning more heavily because, again, Spirit is telling me to do this, so I'm going to have faith in it. That's kind of how I roll, but it seems to work. So Spirit is guiding me to be more leaning back and stepping back into the whole like manifesting, coaching, teaching, that kind of stuff. So with that said, I'm going to be doing the manifesting mentorship, which I'm going to be announcing not today on this thing, but in like tomorrow or the next day, and sending out that in the email. So if you don't have the email, make sure you get on my list. Go ahead and sign up for the 7-day free thing and get on the list. And so I'll be doing that. Also be doing prosperity pep talk sessions. These are all coming. They're not placed out yet, but to make sure you are in the know, make sure you're getting my newsletter. So if you're not getting the newsletter, go down to the link that says join the newsletter and get on the newsletter. So then you get the replays, you get the little pearls of wisdom, all the things. Okay, so now we're done. Is that good? Yes. We got the whole, if you want a private reading, book it now. You want the thing. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna, okay, faith-wise, what do we need to know to be more in faith with our small still voice, aside from meditation? Ah, yes. That's awesome. Yep. I even need to hear this stuff. You guys looking at these cards. Yes. That's so funny. Okay, first of all, you can't make shit up. Hey Mel, how are you? Hope today is good for you. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Bring a gentle spirit. Look at that dear spirit. She's so gorgeous. Okay. So what does that really mean? Bring a gentle touch. I'm be honest with y'all. I was a little pissed off at myself this morning over stupid spilt milk kind of crap. And I had to stop and take a breath because I was just moving too quickly. And since my word for this year or phrase is slow down, I had to be in awareness and say, you are stressing out over feeling overwhelmed over stuff that is not, if you sit down and look at it, everything is cool. So when we can be graceful, when we can bring a gentle touch to ourselves, and meaning I am being in grace. If I drop something on the floor, like I don't know about you, but if you've ever dropped an entire bottle of paprika on the floor, it makes a freaking mess. And you can either cuss at yourself or you can just kind of clean it up and be like, well, that was interesting. So bring a gentle touch, in my opinion, in my guidance from spirit, is for you to slow down. When we meditate, yeah, there's all this thing about mindfulness and stuff like that, but really, it's about being aware of where's your energy. It gives you that ability to slow stuff down and be much more aware of how your body is showing up in reaction to the emotions you're feeling. So when you're feeling that, like, oh my God, this is okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to slow down, bring a gentle touch. Did I mean to do that? No. Give yourself some grace. We're all human. Nobody's perfect. Okay? So when we have faith, there're going to be days when our faith wanes. There's going to be days when we don't believe in ourselves. There's going to be days, but these are moments. These are moments, and when you come into awareness of realizing that's where you are, that's the moment you can shift the energy. Okay. Because when you're in awareness of what's going on, instead of being and owning those feelings, if you're like, instead of saying stuff like, gosh, I'm so anxious, if you can be in awareness, the change and the shift comes when you can say, I'm really feeling anxiety right now. And I wonder where that's coming from. And is it something I can control? And if not, what can I control within myself to slow and and soothe and kind of unknot that? And what that is grace for self. Okay. So when we come to that whole, like, I can't be perfectly faithful, but I can be faithful in the moment when I choose to be. And I can always choose to make those choices, which I know this sounds like double talk, but you get what I'm saying. So, what is the medicine to support us in that? And then we have flamingo spirit, which is embrace the in between, which is that in between, when you have that inhale and then there's a space, and then it is in that in between that awareness happens. So if you can embrace that in between, and we can all do that. Let's do that right now. Like, take this moment. I'm going to lead you in a 16-second meditation. Everybody can do less than a minute, in my humble opinion. And if you can't, then there's choices being made there. But everybody can. So when you're having a stressful moment, or when you're freaking out and you're like, "Oh my God, how can I get myself under control?" Because that is the only thing we can control. It's take that moment and say, I need to do my 16 seconds. And we're going to inhale. So exhale, then inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do that once or over and over again to get to that space of awareness, that embracing of the in between that I was talking about, where you can be like, oh, okay, I can choose what I want to do here. And then our last one is take a leap of faith, grasshopper spirit. And I love that because we're talking all about faith. Have faith in your faith. Leap into that faith. Leap into the certainty that the universe has your back. Leap into the certainty when your still small voice says, go do this, and it's not fear talking to you. It is that GPS, your God particle system, talking to you. That's when our leap of faith is so important. So, having the faith and then leaping with it, that's this week. Okay. So I would love for you guys to sit in your journals, maybe, to sit with your journal and write out, where can I be more faithful when I'm listening to my inner self? Where can I reconnect more to my inner self? Maybe, do I need to start meditating? Which I love Insight Timer, which is an app. If you don't have it already, it's delightful. They have all free meditations, or you can pay for it and open up a whole bunch of stuff on top of that. But they're awesome, and they have all kinds. So for whatever walk you are, whether it's a 5 minute, 1 minute to like hours, plus, if you're the kind of person who benefits from, a guided or just music or just chimes, it's all there. But I'm going to encourage you, for us to lean into spirit, we have to be in awareness. And for us to be in awareness, we have to slow the down. So I can't cuss a whole lot. I guess Facebook gets pissed off at that. But doing that will give you that awareness space so you can be in a much more loving, graceful space to make better decisions of where you want to go. And Mel says, I did this meditation last night and it's fabulous, right? Because you got a lot going on. Everybody has a lot going on. We're all in this together. And I really feel like if we can kind of slow it all down, because I think we're in that kind of second week of January where the first week is everybody kind of being like, I was off for the last 2 weeks. I don't even know my name and trying to get their bearings. And then this week, it's like, okay, let's get into the locomotive and just go. And instead of just going, remembering, because what happens is you just go and we forget, what did we just spend the last 2 years doing? We just spent the last 2 years working through our own stuff. We just walked out of the cave. You can't get on the same locomotive that got you there and feel okay. So slow down. It's okay to slow down. It is safe for you to slow down. It is safe for you to do the meditations. It is safe for you to reconnect with yourself. It is safe for you to align. And it is safe for you to manifest the stuff that is your good and attract it and be that lighthouse for everything. But starts with leaning into listening to that still small inner voice that will be your guidance. And the way to do that this week again is the main one, give yourself some grace. Be gentle with yourself. If you need a nap, take it. If you need to go take a bath or a walk or whatever, don't take the bath and the walk at the same time. People get upset if you're outside naked and it's not like a nude community. Um, just saying. But, if you do the things that you need to do for your self-care to make sure that you're being graceful with yourself, that in the meditation will handle it. Then secondly, embrace the in between. Embrace the awareness that comes in between the breath. So make sure you're doing that 16 seconds of bliss, I think is what David G calls it, that 4444 pattern interrupt that will help you really become aware of not just the in between, but aware of the fact that that pause gives you the space to make those choices, to realize I'm not anxious. I am feeling anxiety, and such that feelings are transient, then this too shall pass, and I can choose my next feeling. Okay. And then have that leap of faith that what I'm telling you is true. Have that leap of faith. I'm trying to get all the things in the frame here. Have the leap of faith. I think it's really interesting that it's like give grace, embrace the space, and then leap. I mean, that's a progressive 1, 2, 3 right there. So that's your formula for stepping into faith in self. And like I said in the very beginning, you are an extension of source energy. You're an extension of divine. So whether you call it source, God, the universe, whatever, you are an extension of that energy. That means you are that energy. You are source. You are universe. You are God. And so when we can have faith in that which is greater than us and ourselves at the same time, the manifesting comes, the peacefulness comes, the balance comes, the overwhelm fades, and we can step back and say, you know what? I am enough. I am perfect in my imperfection, and it is okay. I am showing up as my favorite self in this moment, and that is more than enough. Okay. That's it for this week. And I'm doing so good, y'all. I'm trying to keep these to 30 minutes so that I'm not yammering and taking up like all of your day. So like basically you can come and have your morning coffee with me, or your lunch, and then you can go play. But I love that you guys are here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, have faith not just in universe, but in your own inner God particle, the part of you that is the universe. That's where your stuff will happen. And again, back those computers up, back the phones up, back the iPads and the tablets up, and make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's and all of the things so that we have a lovely opportunity-driven Mercury retrograde instead of like lots and lots of swearing at our technology as we go through this. So, and again, as I said before, below are links to all the things, whether you're looking for a session that is available between now and the end of the month, whether you are looking for kind of like you're a beginner in manifesting and you want my free 7 steps little mini videos, mini course, that's down there. If you want to just join the newsletter where you will learn all the things and you will hear all of my news first before it hits social, go ahead and do that. There's all kinds of stuff down in the links, whether if you're on Facebook, it's here. If you're on the YouTubes, it's here. And I love you all so much. I want you to have a lovely, lovely in awareness week. So live in the in between, my friends. That is where we can make our choices in the present moment and in the in between of awareness. And make the choice to be in love and in grace with self and all of that. I love you so much. Mwah! Have a great week. I will see you next Monday. Bye, y'all.